All right, so let me real quick, let's kind of give you a little rundown of, I guess, some things, and then we can go to some questions. Today's first day of class. And in our world, that means it's a non-practice day. We typically do our work on Sundays, Mondays off, so we're trying to get in that flow. Even though game week's still a week out, we're not doing this as a true exact game week. I'm still a little bit of a preseason thought process as far as practice and all that deal. It's like today we've already had like some rehab stuff we did. We had a guest speaker this morning. Guys are off to class. Couple meals have been fed to them already. We've had 19 of 29 practice opportunities before the SIU opener, which will be on the 5th at 4 o'clock on ESPN News. Health of the team. We've had two guys. Ty Smith had that neck deal and is going to be shut down. Of course, he's a non-scholarship player and had a nice role, and his father coached here and whatnot. And Garrett Welch, it was a senior walk-on. It was a DB, has had a Liz Frank injury. So those guys have kind of lost their years. They were behind, the role players and had done nice jobs for us, and you don't like that for them. But other than that, we've had no major losses to date. Now we've got, whether it be a fair amount of a couple of that preseason lower body, whether it be a ham or an ankle sprain or a glitch knee, but nothing that's going to hold anyone out significantly. We've got to manage practice. We've had a couple of concussion symptom guys. Have only received those in practices that weren't scrimmage. We've never had so for example, Saturday we had 117 plays in a scrimmage. We had 31 kicking plays scrimmage. That's 148 snaps, which is getting close to a full game. And we had 0 medical issues after that practice. It was also, did a lot of work with our 2s and 3s, trying to develop those guys in that scrimmage last Saturday. But it was by far our hardest, best scrimmage we've had to date, not this year, but just since we've been here. So good go and staying pretty healthy, so I like that. We backed it up yesterday. We had a good lift, had some great meetings, had some great teaching situations, had 85 plays in yesterday's practice with some fundamental kicks. So kind of went back out after a pretty good day and didn't try to overdo it. Guys kind of knew. The ones knew they didn't have a lot Saturday. We were going to get a little bit more on Sunday because we weren't in a true recovery mode. But really liked the way the weekend went. Had a chance yesterday to teach the freshmen the fight song. The freshman athletes, our guys have done it. And we tried to show them how it's really done the right way and had a little fun with those guys with our freshman kickoff they do for all the athletes. We've added a player, Wesley Green, that's transferring in. Kid we recruited out of Martin Luther King High School. We actually recruited another young man from that school last year. It was a top player that we lost, but had some ties with him. He'll has started. Was up here a week ago on a visit, came in this weekend, and he'll get started. He'll be having to sit out. He was a true freshman, so he'll have to sit out, and he'll have 3 years to play following that. We did last week, you guys saw, we rewarded 8 walk-on scholarships. Right now our starting punter, Eric Toth, who's been on scholarship for a couple years, but you always have to re-earn it. Our background shows that a lot of guys, once they receive a scholarship, they kind of chill out, think they've, versus continuing to enhance your role and help the team. So those guys got to re-earn those scholarships every year. It's a very, very competitive deal. Matter of fact, we've had some guys that have been on scholarship that didn't do nothing wrong, but in a competitive environment like starting, it's very competitive to get those scholarships. So Eric's back on scholarship. Eric Tove's doing well. Griffin Oaks has been the kicker. Aaron Del Grosso's had a groin pull, and he's kind of out for about another week. So he hasn't been able to kick, and I would have thought that would have been a 50-50 toss-up going into preseason. So Aaron Del Grosso, let me say it right, Grosso. Had it right the first time, right? All right, good, sorry. He's been limited, and that's unfortunate because he's a good kicker. But Griff's done well. He made a 60-yarder in our practice the other day. Hit it fat from 57. Caught the pellets fat and still had enough distance and hit the crossbar. So he's done well. We added a kicker. Caleb Menser is a kicker from, I think, Christian Brothers, CBC in St. Louis. And he's a solid, matter of fact, he's been perfect since he's been here. He's yet to miss a kick in his college career. I won't jinx him right now, but he's done very, very well. Casaro and Cooper tied in, earned their scholarships back. Ben Bach going on scholarship, came out of spring as a starter, doing very well. Mitchell Page, Damon Graham getting the bulk of the work at our slot receiver. And then we rewarded Ricky Brookings. That doesn't count Tyler Lukens, who's been on scholarship in our O-line. It's a backup. Mario Swan, who's doing very, very well, is depth. Alex Rodriguez and Andrew Wilson. Andrew's been on scholarship last year. They're quality running backs for us. Nate Boudreaux was on scholarship last year as a quarterback. Our 3 long snappers are in a heated battle with Nathan Goodell, Josh Perrick, and Dan Gottsel, a true freshman. That's heated. Sean Damaska had a touchdown the other day in our scrimmage. Big play as a tight end been on scholarship. And like some of our young linebackers, Kyle Loshell, Gabe Estes, and Kenny Arnold. So we got 8 scholarships out, and I just do about 12 more names up there. Guys are going to travel and play a lot of football for us, and we'll see how their careers goes. They keep hanging in. Last deal, again, we're still in a full week here before school. We're in a preseason mode, trying to polish and develop a lot of 2s, get the 1s right. We've kind of changed some ways in our practice and the way we're doing things of emphasizing certain things at certain parts to get a little bit better practice tempo, point in time in practice where you can almost over practice, and we still got to cover things and rep things and what that, but we're ready for a strong year, what we think is going to be a positive year. And by far, it's been a really good preseason. So, I get it is what it is. Those things are set well in advance, and we're set moving forward, with home and homes. We got to get 1 year we didn't get it right. Like 1 year in 17, our home and home couldn't get Virginia here, so we're back to 6 games. And I think as a Big Ten team, you need to be at 7 home games. We have, our first 4 years have had 6 home games 3 times. And I think that's happened 7 times in the Big Ten during those 4 years and 3 times here. And there's 14 other schools. So it's not, you're a Big Ten school. You want to get 7. You want the home. You want less travel. You want your locker room, your hotel, your fan base, your environment. You just want to play games at home. So we want to get those at 7. It's going to be very difficult when you go to the 9-game slate. As coaches, fans like it because you're going to play better teams. As coaches, you're going to guarantee by playing 1 more week of Big Ten football, a 7-7 weekend. And if you look at the non-conference schedule, how many weeks does our conference go 7-7? Week 1, week 2, week 3. If we have a bad week, it's 9-5, 10-4, and everybody says, oh, they got beat, whatever. Most of the times our league is going to be 12-2, 13-1, 14-0. So it's going to lead to a lot more 500-type years for a lot of people. And, as coaches, we're like, hey, make sure you get some manageable we're going to beat ourselves up a little bit more, and you want to fill those bowl spots up. When it goes to 9, it is set where the East always has 5 home games in 1 year, and the West has 4. When you have 5 home games, there's 3 non-conference. You need 2 of those at home to get you to 7. The next year, when you play 4 home games, that means you're going to 5 Big Ten venues. You don't want to go to another quality venue. You're going to 5 Big Ten venues. You don't want to travel non-conference into another tough road environment. So those years, it's challenging for the administration to get 3 home games. And it's difficult. And that being said, you got to pay guys. I mean, it's getting to where, hey, if you want to go home and home, you can spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. If you want to go home, you're going to throw them $800,000 to $1.2. I mean, Eastern Michigan guys are getting $1.2, but guys want them at home. And that's what I'm encouraging our administration is try to keep us at 7. The 9 conference games will be great. You just want to fight to get 7 games. I like the matchups. Again, we're playing some regional games. Wake home and home, Virginia home and home, UConn home and home, Cincinnati home and home, and then the 3-game run with Louisville. So that matches up with the one quality team or BCS Power 5 team, if you will. Those other teams are pretty good, and you want to structure as many of those as you can to me to get 7 home games every year.
Are you confident that you can get the 7, you say 2017, you had 6 home games, that you can get to 7?
Right now we're at 6 unless it is what it is. And it's just because it's slim pickings. There ain't a lot out there. You look at your opportunity. We had someone the other day, when in NFL, when the East Coast teams go west and you start traveling time zones. So when you look at, hey, do you want to play X team in the Pac-12? Well, yeah, but, boy, it's going to be a long trip. Do you want to go 3 time zones with your travel, your cost, your fan? That's the nice thing about Cincinnati, Louisville. You're going to have some away games where you think you'd have a great fan base at. And that's something that you like. So we just got to work real hard, and it's tough. And those schools know it, and they're asking for high dollar and demanding it, and they're getting it. And that's just a part of the dynamics of where we're at. But you like to think with the TV contracts, apparel contracts, the budgets you're getting there, you just got to, I know our administration's into it. They're working hard. But it's tough. I mean, it's tough for all of us. My understanding is, and again, not stalling, there's nothing other than the process we're going through to just get some things cleared. If I can believe what I've been told, and nothing has changed other than, okay, I'm supposed to. Well, last week the word was it'll be dealt with Thursday, and a decision will be known. And as soon as we know, nothing's happened bad, good. He's still learning how to practice hard. When he practices hard, he's pretty good. Had a couple touchdowns the other day. And so, you know, but he's still learning. He's still right now receiver 2 or 3 just because he's a little inconsistent. But he's a very talented kid, and he's doing well, and that'll get worked out as soon as we know. And like I say, well, I was told last week, I was told Friday, we'd know Thursday.
He's still allowed to practice while
Yes. Yeah, he's standards.
This
This Thursday. Yes, Thursday coming up this week. So we'll know before game week. And again, I'm still kind of in a preseason mode. He is still in the process of earning his right to play, figuring out how to, you know, show up every day and be locked in. And when he's on, he's on. And he's just one of those guys that when you hadn't played at a competitive, and his junior college was outstanding, but you know, when he doesn't have the ball, sometimes it's always hard. And when it's coming his way, he's like, man, that looks great. But like, you know, playing without the ball, blocking without the ball, all that stuff. He's just learned how to be a consistent practice player that a lot of young players have to go through.
Can you specify why you like Saturday scrimmage?
We had well, one we talked a lot about. You know, Buck will know this one. Okay, it's 2 weeks out, so you got 2 things going on. You got give me the game week mindset. Just give me the game week, right? And you got a bunch of dead legs. And I'm like, hey, you know, you guys come in and start worrying. And that's when guys, you're not going full speed. Guys get, like, if you're worried about getting hurt, they don't get in your car. And please don't do anything after 9 o'clock at night if you're worried about harm to yourself. So, you know, quit worrying about things. So we just kind of started a mindset like, hey, I'm going to do a lot of 2 and 3 work. You guys need it. We got to develop our depth. Hey, come out and fly around. And they did. And there were some good plays both sides. Offense clicked early. Defense settled down. We had some great situations. But it was as fast and as physical. And it was fun, and it was good football, and it was good to see.
Obviously, you're a year away from being able to utilize him, but what have you seen from Wesley Green that kind of made you want to bring him in?
Well, again, the position at corner, like, for example, we're dealing with something, you know, and Pete knows, we're talking Donovan Clark. Where's he at with his back? Well, it's that kind of, if that thing goes bad with Donovan, which I think we'll know as a semester, is that back going to hold up or not? We're giving it time. If it doesn't, it kind of replaces a guy in that class, because it's the same kind of class per se. So upper level player, we need some DBs. It's been a little bit of Achilles heel in recruiting and development. And we think we recruited very, very well, very pleased with Crawford and Andre Brown and Jamil Cooks. Got D. Williams over there, it looks good. And Tyler Green was the most talented recruit. He comes in very much like those guys. So we're starting to get a little bit of skill set where you got some depth. And games played in space, and you need to be 2 deep pretty good. And, you know, we thought that'd be better than anybody maybe we could go sign on paper. And let's get him a year, get him right, and he'll have 3 to play. Yeah. Well, he was our first, you know, again, like you say there, Zach, he showed up. I think we played Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, like on a December 14, 15, 16. Finals had happened. Everybody had went home. It was a Friday night basketball game, and recruiting was going dead starting that Sunday, and he was going to be a mid-year kid. And we were able to get him in, I had not left campus to recruit yet. We were trying to get our staff in place. So he came down, was going to be a mid-year guy. We liked him. As he started, you know, he didn't know any better except going hard. And by the end of that first spring, the last week or 2, we were playing the first team. Second, he was splitting time. He was over his head, but he had great attitude, great energy. He cared a lot. It was pretty neat. And shoot, I was getting ready to do our little summer vacation we always do, and they called me and said, Ralston's hurt, going to the hospital, it's a bad knee injury. And so when I get to the hospital, his leg is sitting where this leg right here is on top. His leg dislocated this way. And most dislocations are left to right. His lower leg was on top of his upper leg. And, you know, and Coach Hill was there, and I was there, and we actually were in the deal, and Dr. Fox came in. And basically, like when you dislocate a finger, you pull it back. Well, he pulled his knee back in place. And I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, holy. I mean, it was, you know, and as soon as it popped in joint, he fell asleep. But he basically tore everything up. And he could have been a medical right then. ACL, PCL, MCL, every whatever L's in your knee, he got. And took him the next year where, shoot, he could halfway, couldn't really even jog to practice a little bit. It took him a year to get strong enough to almost practice. Then it took him another 6 months to play. Well, in this day, he's like, I got all these guys, if I ain't playing by year 1, shoot, I'm transferring out. You know, if I ain't playing right now, I'm going to find me a new home. You know, maybe he had nowhere else to go. Maybe he just loved it. But he kept hanging around, and you fell in love with him because it would have been easy to say, I'm done, and he refused not to. And then Coach Fry and the medical staff, and we tried to, in the strength staff, we tried to be very, very smart in the workload he could do to give him a chance to play. And this year it just got where it was getting weak enough. It just long-term wasn't smart for him to play. But he's a very unusual, gifted man, and he's going to be a successful Hoosier. He's doing a great job now. She's awesome, and love to have him playing. I love what he's doing. He's why you do a little bit of coaching, because you get to help kids. And, shoot, they impact you. He's had impact on our coaches. He's a neat kid. He's pretty strong. Is that it?
Coach, Nate, some receivers have mentioned Luke Timian, kid from Oklahoma State.
Mhm.
Is he eligible to play this year?
He sure is. And because he was not recruited here, and he was a non-scholarship player there, you can leave as a non-recruited walk-on and come right away. You know, he came up to camp. He's from South Lake Carroll in Texas, which is a phenomenal high school program, one of the top 10, 15, 20 high school programs, country, year after year after year. A lot of quarterbacks you guys see on Sunday came out of that high school. And so a great passing program, tremendous coach that myself and some other coaches knew well. And he just kind of contacted us. He went to Oklahoma State because it's close, but he was a Kelly School of Business guy. He kind of liked it here. He wanted to go away. He reached out to us, and we said, sure. And he's kind of that third slot right now. And with Mitchell and Damon being, he's got a little niche. He's going to have a nice role for us. He's a quality player. He'll be playing a little bit this year. Glad he's here.
With Rashard fan, what did you want to see out of him in the fall, and what have you seen so far?
Rashard's been one. He's a very, very good athlete. He's got really good cover skills, but he's been very inconsistent. You know, just coming every day. You know, and being not the biggest guy, there's some matchups where he has to physically be like, okay, it's one thing to run and cover, but it's nothing to. You got to be strong enough to play. So he's gotten stronger. He's gotten his weight up. He's pushing right at 180 now. He used to be in the 60s like Xander. He's getting. We finally got those guys hovering on the 180 mark, and we want to keep them there and push to 85. But he's stronger. He's made more plays tackling and supporting like the bubble screens and the perimeter plays. And it's been nice physical tackles, not just hanging on and pulling you down, but coming up and actually having some nice contact wrap up. So be a little bit more consistent, be a little bit more physical, and not just be a cover guy. He's always been a cover guy. The ball's going to get in the perimeter a lot. The game has changed. There's so many jet sweeps, bubble screens, quick passes. The ball gets outside. It's one thing to cover, but you got to get guys on the ground. And he's been a lot better, and he's had by far his best. He's doing well, but it's a competitive market. I think those young players, he needs to play well because those young freshmen are pretty gifted.
You talked about a couple guys that you said were inconsistent. Who is your most inconsistent guy practice? Most consistent guy practice to practice?
Dan Feeney, not even close. Hands down, the best. Tevin's a great hard player. Dan Feeney is real good. He walks in the building, he puts his socks on good. I guarantee it. He does a lot of things good. He's real good. He's talented, smart enough, but not too smart. Doesn't overthink it. Doesn't overcomplicate it. He's a high-end football player. If he was at a school where you guys wanted to give a clout, he'd be on every honor and every All-American team right now. He is a legitimate football player.
But you have a lot of veteran offensive linemen. Wes Martin's been able to move into that left guard spot. What have you seen from him that makes him still?
Well, there's some talent because of strength and all that, but he's also useful enough that we've had to have Jacob Bailey and Wes Rogers in there some because there's some inexperience. Like in protection, we need you in certain places because we need those quarterbacks upright. And he's got a lot of talent, a lot of upside, but as a young guy, he's a little inconsistent, just whether it be where my focus is, mindset. But he bench 500, he's strong. When we had him in camp, he ran low 5 flats. He's not a thick-legged kid. He's got skinny ankles, quick feet. He's not a great player yet, but he's very, very strong, very, very talented, and he will be really good in time. He's pretty good right now, but we'll keep complimenting with Reed and Wes Rogers and some of those other cats, DeAndre Herron, to give us some depth because we need all those guys up there.
We kind of talked about him, I guess, in spurts, but it seems like Nick Westbrook and Leon Thornton are guys that are maybe a little bit ahead of the curve at receiver. Where are they? And I know you talked about Camion kind of, still struggling with consistency. Are they there too? Or are they a little bit ahead of that?
No, they're about the same. They've got size and speed. There's, those three are big guys. Ricky Jones has been the best he's been, and Simi is our number 2. That's our 2 best outside. But right now, the next best outside players are those young first-year guys, whether it be Cam, Westbrook, and Leon. Those guys right now are getting a lot of the 2 work. And we have some other guys in the mix that get some place, but those guys get the bulk of it. Good? All right, guys.
Touchdown! Wow, what a play!